We're in for a treat today, ladies and gentlemen. Top 10 melee weapons in State of Decay 2, heavily requested by a number of players, specifically valid poems. I hope you like it. Now there's 127 melee weapons in the game, not including knives, and I've got the immense pleasure today of presenting the 10 best. Why they're the 10 best and in what order. We'll consider every factor. How we get the weapon, how much it weighs, what the stats are, how cool the weapon looks, although that won't really sway the decisions, don't worry. Have a little think about what you think the number 1 spot will be, and without further ado, let's start this off with the number 10 spot. Number 10, the Danforth Slugger. This, as the weapon description tells us, is a lead-filled baseball bat manufactured by the network. It's basically a better version of the wooden and metal baseball bats, and you can get your hands on it through buying it off the network wandering traders. It's the only network melee weapon in the game, but even then it holds its own in the top 10 for a couple of reasons. The main reason is its knockdown chance, 85%, 100% if you use the fighting skill Striking, which adds on an extra 30% to your knockdown chance. The durability and impact stats on the weapon aren't bad either. For those of you who don't know what the impact stat on a weapon means, it's basically how much damage your weapon deals. It helps us determine what weapons are the best to use against play cards. The higher the impact stat, the less hits it will take to destroy one. Now there are a few things that hold this weapon back. Firstly, its weight. 12 pounds is a little high and can make staying in the green zone of your encumbrance limit a little tricky. And the ease of use is pretty high as well, meaning you'll quickly run out of stamina when swinging this about. It makes number 10 because of its incredibly high knockdown chance, but it's not the easiest weapon to use, which is why it doesn't get any higher. Number 9, the Clio Longblade. We're continuing the theme of high cost, high results here because the Clio Longblade has some of the best and worst stats in the game, which we'll get into. You buy the Clio Longblade off the Red Talon prestige traders you call in from the radio, and each blade costs 300 prestige. Not too bad. That's like 2 waves of Daybreak. The Clio Longblade has the best dismemberment and lethality in the game. With swordplay we have a 50% chance of one-shotting every zombie we fight, and if we don't one-shot them, we'll almost always take some of their limbs off. It's hands down one of the best weapons to use in one-on-one combat. That being said, there are some terrible disadvantages to this weapon. First of all, it weighs 22 pounds. Which for a bladed weapon is stupid. I mean, for reference, the sledgehammer weighs 15 pounds and that's a heavy weapon. Its impact is also terrible, 0.25, I mean that's not making a dent in play cards. And the ease of use is one of the worst in the entire game. The average character will only be able to swing this thing about 6 or 7 times, if that. It's garbage. But if you have a colossal stamina bar and trust yourself not to get into massive fights, it's not a bad weapon to go for. Number 8, the Clio Mace. Costing 300 prestige from the Red Talon prestige traders, having to pay prestige for a weapon might put some players off, but this thing is much better than a lot of the other prestige weapons. It's light, weighing 8 pounds, which for a blunt weapon isn't too bad. Its durability is decent, the ease of use is pretty good for a blunt weapon anyway, and similar to the Danforth Slugger, it's got incredibly high knockdown chance, 75% this time, 100% with striking. But it's better than the Danforth Slugger and a lot of other blunt weapons because the impact stat on this weapon is higher, 1.8, meaning it'll actually be quite effective against play cards. I mean, it's almost on par with some of the heavy weapons in the game, which makes it very versatile. It's not a bad weapon at all. The lethality is a bit low, and the dismemberment's non-existent, but you expect that for a blunt weapon, and this is a very good blunt weapon. Number 7, the Sweet Skull Sword. Basically just a better version of the Replica Bastard Sword, although in my opinion, the Replica Bastard Sword looks better. We get the Sweet Skull Sword either by searching rare weapons cases or defeating play cards. It's fairly common loot. Stats wise it's very decent and well rounded, a jack of all trades. The dismemberment and lethality are pretty average, good durability for a bladed weapon, and surprisingly good impact, 1.25. Which is much higher than a lot of bladed weapons. It only weighs 4.5 pounds and it's got the same ease of use stat as the Clio Mace, so you can swing this sword about for ages. One unique thing about the Sweet Skull Sword is that it actually has knockdown chance. It's only 5%, but it is noticeable and sets it apart from some very similar weapons. Overall, it's a very good sword, well rounded and easy to get, with no real weaknesses, but no crucial strengths either, which is why I've left it at number 7. Number 6, the RTX Crusher. A standard issue Red Talon weapon, blunt force trauma. It's an upgraded version of the military's breaching hammer, which was already pretty good. You can get it in a number of ways. Buy it from the Red Talon wandering traders, call in a prestige trader and buy it for 200 prestige, and you can even have a chance of getting it for free from some specific ambient missions during the campaign. It's got incredibly high durability, knockdown and lethality for a blunt weapon, although it's held back by its weight and ease of use. £10 for a blunt weapon is fairly steep, but it is good, and it will last you a while. No dismemberment stat and an impact stat of 1.6. It's just a standard, reliable blunt weapon. Not super OP, but definitely better than others. Number 5, the RTX Extermination Blade, the other Red Talon melee weapon, just slightly better than its blunt counterpart. in my opinion. It's a modified, cooler looking version of the Katana Machete. We can get the Extermination Blade the exact same way we got the RTX Crusher. You can buy it from Red Talon Wandering Traders, the Prestige Trader for 200 Prestige, and even some special ambient missions that have a chance of showing up. It's incredibly light, weighing only £3, and it costs a tiny amount of stamina to swing, which is brilliant. No knockdown, but that's expected for a bladed weapon. The durability is pretty good. The lethality and dismemberment is a bit below par though, which is surprising because this weapon seems to perform a lot better than it looks on paper. Anyway, it makes number 5 because the stats are alright, it's easy to carry and doesn't cost much stamina to use. I mean, it's one of Red Talon's most iconic weapons, so there has to be a reason for it. Number 4, the Cleo Hand Axe. Now, I'm a bit biased here because this is my favourite weapon in the entire game. It is so good, although it's not the best statistically on paper, so that's why it's in number 4. You can get the Cleo Hand Axe through buying it off the Prestige Trader for 200 Prestige, which for a Cleo weapon is very cheap. It weighs £12 and it costs a little bit more stamina to swing than other bladed weapons, but that's typical of Cleo weapons. The durability is fairly average and so's the lethality, but the dismemberment's only 30%, which is a little disappointing. One of the reasons why it's in number 4. But two of the big selling points of this weapon is the impact stat and, surprisingly, the knockdown stat. 1.4 impact for a bladed weapon is crazy and actually makes it viable for fighting play cards. The knockdown chance is one of, if not the highest I've ever seen on a bladed weapon, which, similar to the Sweet Skull Sword, just sets it apart from the rest of the bladed weapons, gives it something else that it can do. This weapon's a jack of all trades, not your stereotypical bladed weapon, but still incredibly good. Number 3, the Sledgehammer. About time a heavy weapon made the list, and spoiler alert, it's the only time a heavy weapon makes the list. I was going to put the Beetle Mallet in the list as well because it has the highest impact stat in the game, but it weighs £25 and it costs too much stamina to swing. The Sledgehammer is a reliable weapon you can buy from enclaves, find in play cards, construction sites, they're everywhere. It weighs £15, which for a heavy weapon is fairly average, no complaints with the durability, and the ease of use is pretty high, which is expected. It'll cost a lot of stamina to swing, but at least the stamina is well spent because the damage the Sledgehammer can do is some of the best in the game. With an impact stat of 2.6, it can tear through lethal zone play cards in about 12 hits, even less if you use the Powerhouse special move, Power Hit. It can't dismember zombies, but it doesn't intend to. It has fairly high knockdown chance, which can be very helpful to get enemies off of you when hitting the play card. And the lethality is garbage, but you expect that. Overall, it makes number 3 because, to this day, it's still one of the best and cheapest ways to get rid of play cards in the game. It's easy to find and even easier to use. Just remember it's not the fastest weapon. Number 2, the Apocalypse Bat. Now this one's a bit weird and a surprising number 2. It's not got your typical stats of a blunt weapon, in fact the knockdown on it's only 30%. The impact's a little above average and so's the lethality. But this is a really good weapon for new players. The reason why is because it's lightweight. It only weighs 1.5 £, it's got incredible durability, pretty much double some of the other weapons in this category, and the ease of use stat is also one of the best I've seen. You can swing and carry this bat around for days and it won't break on you. And with your fighting specialised to striking, it's just as good as some other blunt weapons. It's also incredibly reliable for new players because we can get this weapon whenever we want. The only way to get this weapon is through calling in the Ultimate Edition melee weapon supply drop for 450 influence. In the drop we get 3 copies of the Apocalypse Sword, which is a good bladed weapon, and 3 copies of the Apocalypse Bat. So that means at the start of the game, you not only have your chosen weapon, 2 backups of it, just in case you lose one or can't afford to repair the other. Brilliant. On lower difficulties, the supply drop is even free to call in, which makes it even better. It may not be the best option for combat, but it will always be there for you. Number 1, you knew it was coming, the Bastard of Belau Wood. Imagine the raw stats of the Cleo Longblade combined with the weight and durability of the Apocalypse Bat. That's what this weapon is. It sounds insane, it looks insane, it is insane. I always overlooked this weapon, thought it was massively overhyped. But I was wrong, because this really is the best weapon in the game for so many reasons. First of all, it only weighs 1.5 £, which makes it one of the lightest weapons in the game. It's got an impact stat of 1, so don't expect it to be massively helpful against the play cards, but even then, it's not the worst option. No knockdown on the weapon, but once again, it's a bladed weapon, so that's not really its purpose. But here's where it shines. 60% dismemberment chance and 19% blade lethality. That makes it almost the same as the Cleo Longblade, but it's way better than the Cleo Longblade because the ease of use stat is over 4 times better. That means for every swing of the Cleo Longblade, you can swing the Bastard of Belau Wood 4 times. That's unreal. The durability of the weapon is also incredible, which makes it perfect for long missions away from base. Now the only thing that holds the weapon back a little bit is how we get it. It's not the easiest to get. In fact, the only way I know of getting it is by looting the rare weapons cases you find throughout the map. If you want to know what else you get out of these cases and what map has the most, then check out this video here. But if you are lucky enough to get it, then cherish it, with the knowledge that you've found the best melee weapon in State of Decay 2, at least in my opinion. So there we have it folks, top 10 melee weapons in State of Decay 2. They said it couldn't be done, well, nobody really said that, but it's been done anyway. As always, I'm interested to hear your thoughts. What's your list? Is this list pretty good? Is there a weapon you were surprised to see, or not see? Let me know. Leave it in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one.